Sunday. I'm out here repping my favorite Cleveland football team, and that's a fictional hockey team. Love the Browns.
Gordon Bombay, great coach. Great coach.
Today we're representing fictional teams. Mount Union, Donald
Fictional.
Duck. But talking about kicking off the postseason, because this is exciting. Going into today's Sunday game, there's a lot of teams that you got to be aware of as they're preparing for contract caps. Let's start off with that first, because this will play an impact on our parlay pick at the end of the episode, but also as you're preparing for your Sunday, thinking about your fantasy team, but then also if you want to make some parlays yourself, these are the ones you got to be aware of. Starting off with Mike Evans, he's going to need 85 plus receiving yards and at least 5 receptions. This is one to truly keep in mind. Again, these are the contract bonuses. So they'll get a bonus, $3 million if he hits this. Yeah, trust me. Baker's got that on top of mind. Yeah. Get this man paid. Geno Smith, let's be real. 185 passing yards. We probably should have kept that in mind for a parlay. I mean, Doug wanted to double down on Jared Goff. We'll see how that goes.
Hey, they're in a big game. They got to play.
Yeah, this is one that I would keep in mind. $2 million. Bro is going to be passing. DeAndre Hopkins, I don't see this one happening. 1 touchdown, 6 receptions, 140 yards receiving.
And no Patrick Mahomes this week either.
He might not even be playing. Actually, probably is, since he's got incentives on the line. But
I'd look at Patrick and be like, give me a watch.
Suit up.
Yeah, give me a $700,000 watch.
Suit up.
This is going to play a part in my parlay pick today. We're going to need 1 rushing TD from Kyler Murray. I don't believe that, but I definitely think he could get 50 plus rushing yards. So I'm thinking he's going to hit it. Lamar did it swimmingly, but he ain't no Lamar. So we'll get to the reviews. Derrick Henry got his bonus with $500,000 with that touchdown last week.
Yeah,
yesterday.
It was even really generous to get that second touchdown too.
Yeah, bro, they dunked on us. Sutton with 82 plus receiving yards. I don't think you're going to see Pollard is looking at 82 plus receiving yards. I don't see this one happening, but it's plausible. It's a tough stretch. And Joe Mixon, they're going to need him, but that's a high.
I wonder if he's even playing. I wonder if he's sitting.
Yeah, let's be real. Probably.
I don't know if they're playing. They're already locked up.
I'm skipping right down to the last one there with J.K. Dobbins, because Will's going to have that one come back to our parlay pick as well, and I think that one is going to be a great pick. So keep an eye out for those as you're getting ready for your Sunday. But let's talk about college football before we continue the convo with the NFL. We had some really fun football games. First off, Ohio State came out like a whole new machine. And, Ryan Day at the end of the game when they were interviewing him, when they were giving him the trophy at the Rose Bowl, and his comment was, after the big loss against Michigan, his comment to the team was, we need to just focus on getting better and being better than the team that showed up that day. And Tennessee was a step in that direction, but it didn't impress anybody because that was exactly what should have happened. But Oregon being a redemption game, one, because they beat us and we needed to prove that was a fluke, but in such a dominant fashion. Yeah. I mean, what an offense. Yeah. Totally different offense.
Yeah, you're going to tell Oregon hasn't lost all year. They're going to put a 34 up before you put up a point. Get back on the bus. And I kind of felt like Oregon, they've been great all year. They were undefeated, but I never felt like at any point they were like one of those Saban dominant Alabama teams where you're like, nobody's touching this team. It's like we lost by 1 on like a mental error at the end of the game that like haunted Will Howard for like a week after that. And it's like, this is the number 1 team. All right. You want to come to the Big Ten? All right. You got to beat us twice. You don't get once. You get twice. We might give you one. This, depending on when you play us in the year, sure. It's like Michigan. They beat us. Got to play Bama. Good job. Good season. you know. And again, their season's made when they beat us, but like I got to give Ryan Day kudos.
Let's talk about that one too. Talk about Alabama just looking like a shell of what it was 5 years ago.
Jalen Milroe put the fries in the bag, bro. You're not getting drafted high now. Looked awful. Like
Oh,
he
yeah.
looked awful. And that team cried, bitched, and moaned
That
that they
were
didn't make it into the playoffs.
well, and hopefully the commission learns from this and restructures how the playoff system works as well. Because there's
Right.
a few teams that we've seen there that through the championships that they've won found themselves in a higher seed than they should have ever been considered.
Right, right.
And so they need to reevaluate the system on how they place the seeding. You're probably going to want to base it on the overall ranking based on schedule and skill level.
Well, it's like at the moment you have the number 8 seeded team is the favorite to win it. But like when you think about it, the 8 seeded team is Ohio State.
Right.
You know, like realistically, you'd probably think back and be like, maybe that'd be Arizona State if you like started the seeding all over again, or like an Indiana. Instead, it's like, no, the 8th best team in this playoff was Ohio State. Really?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Well,
sure,
and-
but
and-
like I'm with you. Like it's all on like it's first year woes. So I'm not going to be
right.
They're gonna
overtly
have to
critical
rethink.
and be like, wow, you should have known better. I'm going to simply be like, hey, first year, let's see how it goes. What I do find hysterical though is that the new playoff system in the first year they're having it, if Ohio State wins it again, it'll be like next time they change up the playoff system again, Ohio State's going to win it. 'Cause
Right.
we did it when they went to 4. We're going to at the moment it looks like we're going to do it when they go to 12. Every other team in the country, I get why you hate us.
Well, before we stomp on the mojo and mess up the karma here, Texas is not going to be an easy roll.
I think it
Now-
will be. I don't think Quinn Ewers is that. Quinn Ewers is not all that, and Ohio State they're playing fast. That was the thing that Tennessee, sure, like I figured, but playing against Oregon was like the wake up. Like this team's mad. This team heard all the comments, and Texas has skirted by so many games. They hardly lost to Georgia playing with their 3rd stringer. You want probably the best like roster in all of college football coming at you. I'm not saying Texas can't beat us, but after the Oregon game, it's like, what does Texas have that we don't or haven't seen or can't compete against? If Ryan Day and the offense have a good coaching scheme going into that game, it's over.
I could agree. And it comes down to that coaching scheme. It comes down to the offensive momentum. They had that in the Oregon game, but you could see games like Michigan, a team that's not even in the run here, totally throwing a monkey wrench in the gears. What I do think Michigan is bringing into this that Ohio State necessarily doesn't, but the Oregon game did change this, is Texas just had the momentum. They've had this season where they've been over glorified, like you said. That Ohio State is coming in with a chip on their shoulder. They've got something to prove. They've heard all the comments. Well, in regards to comments, Texas has had the wave behind them pretty much the whole season.
Yeah.
And I like your point about how they've kind of skirted to where they're at, even though the noise has been, look at how dominant they are.
Yeah.
And when I look at that Arizona game, that was an awesome
that was a
game.
great. That was an all-time game.
I love you talking about the playoff system. Ohio State winning the first time we go to the playoffs, and now the first time really expanding it. We're dominating in a new fashion. What I love about this is more football.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is what I didn't like about this period of that time 10 years ago. And now, even compared to the new playoffs, the past playoff system, talk about more ball.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's so nice that on a Tuesday for New Year's Eve or New Year's on a Wednesday, you're watching football.
Yep.
And it's solid games.
Yep.
The fact that we're running into the living room to record the Ohio State game so we could watch the rest of this Texas game because we don't want to miss a minute of it. It's tight. It's awesome. And we're sitting there going, truthfully, if I could pick between the two, I would have wanted Arizona State to win.
Oh, 100%.
That was the team we would have just rolled. And I still sit here and I can get excited with your confidence because truthfully, Texas barely won that. And, they didn't deserve it with all the missed field goals. So I don't sit here and feel like they're this force that, the meme
Oh, yeah.
with the Grim Reaper that is not, it doesn't matter what playoff run, it could be the Cavs. It's knocking on the door to the
Oh, yeah,
next
that
door,
one.
and
Yeah.
it's like, this is the next team. I didn't feel like that was Texas.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like Texas was walking in and clearing a room, and here comes the Reaper to the next team.
Mhm.
But I do feel like in the window of this postseason alone, we're a different team than what the season itself showed. And I think we have that momentum. We are the force to reckon with, but we have to prove ourselves. These other teams like Texas, even Georgia. Look at Georgia got walloped by a team that I truly don't even think should be here, but now they're making me eat my words. And when I look at that team, I would have thought Georgia, just by noise, was a greater force to reckon with than us entering the playoffs. We were being laughed at just because of the performance against Michigan, a team that isn't even there.
If Ohio State ends up winning this, no one is going to look at that Michigan game. They're not even going to
facts.
talk about it. Like it's
Well, Dave Portnoy will.
well, that's all Dave can talk about because other than the one championship they won last year, they've been irrelevant almost their entire life.
Right.
But, I mean, hey, I'm not going to take that championship last year away from them, cheating allegations aside. Like I'll give it to them. But for me, it's Ohio State's focused. They're not focused, not just focused, they're pissed. And Texas, I view like Quinn Ewers is not a bad quarterback. Every week since the SEC championship game, his draft stock, I'm like, go back to school. Go back to school. Don't go to the NFL. You're not that guy yet. You might not be that guy, but your draft stock is definitely down. I look at their roster and our roster. I'm like, if Ohio State plays like a B, I still have us at a 2-score win. Like, because I look at Texas and be like, you let, again, Cam Scatabo, he's great. The quarterback for Sam Fettering for Arizona State, great quarterback. That's not us.
No.
Like, that's, like you said, we would have rolled them. Come on, bring it on. And, Texas is back. I remember that kid said that years ago. Let's see. Let's see if you're really back. You got to play us. Like, you got to play us. Like, I've never looked at a loss in a Ohio State season as just like, who cares? That's
Right.
over there. It's such an outlier. This is what this team is. Everyone has a bad Saturday. Colin Cowherd had a great conversation about it earlier this week where he mentioned like college football, it's almost expected perfection in order to win a championship. But if you look at the NFL, it's like usually a team who wins the Super Bowl lost 3-4 times. They might have lost to the team that beat them earlier in the year.
Right.
Whereas like in football, it's usually the opposite. He's like, this playoff gives a team like Ohio State to take an embarrassing loss like Michigan and grow from that and just roll through the playoffs to the championship. And
I
it's
love
like,
that.
it used to not be like that. Like 10 years ago, like you mentioned before, you finish your championship game, won the Big Ten championship. You're the number 2 team. Congrats. You play for the national championship in 6 weeks. Like now you get a 6-week break before you play football again. Instead, now they play Friday. And then after that, they're going to play what? Following Monday? Something
Right.
like that. It's just quicker. It's more football. It's like, why do I think Ohio State's done so well? You and I love fighting. What's the one thing we could say that we usually bet on when fighters fight more often than guys who don't? They're more active. They've seen action. They're more willing to get in the ring and get after it. Ohio State, they had what, a 2-week break, and all of a sudden, game, championship game. Texas had like 3 weeks off. You look at all those like first round bye teams, they had like all 3 weeks off. All of them lost. I truly think the more you play, the more kind of you're used to the repetition. You're used to the bangs and bruises and kind of recovering from that.
Well, and again, you got this expectation of perfection only came about by the, I think, monopolization of talent in the NCAA for the last like decade and a half. I think back, prior to this major polarization in talent, I think back to like the Vince Young days.
Oh yeah.
And what's cool about this game is this is not a game we get to see very often. So, kudos to this new system where Ohio State gets to play Texas. And, you and I went to 2 different colleges that weren't Ohio State, and yet we still resonate with this being like our team. Why? Because it's a representation of our culture. It's embedded in it. Our dads have always it's familial. It's rooted in us. And one of the cool things about this game is when you look at the country, really the pillars of homebred true football is Texas and Ohio.
Yeah.
And so you're really getting the peak talent of the two strongest football forces in the country.
Mm.
And deep down, we really know who the stronger dog going into this fight is. But when you look at football culture, right? Like they've got shows about Texas parents and like their 10-year-old in private football leagues and how serious the culture is there. And, you know, it's kind of infecting Ohio. Ask our buddy Kemp when working for the Hall of Fame. They do leagues there all summer where it's these like super obsessed parents from all across the country. And, you know, Ohio's a big piece of that too. So you're seeing like two of the strongest states in this sport, just culture-wise. Like Michigan, whatever you want to say about them, they're not top-tier football state when you think homebred American football.
The only other state I would add is Florida. I think Florida produces a lot of good football talent.
Well, they produce,
But, like, Florida,
but when I
Ohio,
say
and
like
Texas.
culture, tradition,
Culture, sure.
football, like, yeah, dude, there's something in the water in Alabama too.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying, I guess the point I'm not getting at is breeding the best athletes for football.
Right.
But when I mean just like homebred football traditional culture.
Like your small town football town.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go. I mean,
Friday nights are spent at the football game. The
Yes.
whole town. Yeah.
I mean, let's address the fact that we're talking about also two states that also have multiple NFL teams in them. How many states get to say that? So it's because there's such a deeply embedded Browns, Bengals, Texans.
No. I'm thinking of the
Cowboys.
states. No, I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm thinking of the other states. I was thinking Florida, New York,
Florida,
California.
California.
and California. That's it.
And you got to think New York's because of big market. Florida is because I do think they have a strong football
Oh, yeah.
culture
Oh,
there.
yeah, they do. I'm not
California
taking
is
away from
because
that.
big market. So 3 of the 5 cities are, I would say, the 3 biggest, like you said, football culture.
Florida, not in the postseason, period.
No.
Right now, going back to college,
No.
they're not even playing
Man,
with
the
us.
Florida Gators, ever since
Neither
Urban
is
Meyer left, they've not been the same. Which is funny. You bring up Vince Young in the Texas, right? It's like now Texas finally seems to be that like strong school again, where they are competing, and it's like, Ohio State always been there, hasn't left for like 2 decades.
Do you
now.
think it was Matthew McConaughey that did that?
I think it's a part. Like, truthfully, I think it's a part. Like, part of it is like you get a lot of recruiting. Speaking of Portnoy, look at Portnoy up in Michigan. Like, he is actively helping recruit players to that school.
Oh yeah,
You brought it up the
By
other
the
day.
millions.
Like, Barstool is like known as like the Michigan following now, and it's like, don't kid yourself. Matthew McConaughey has talked to these kids before they even committed to Texas to like go there. Don't kid yourself. I guarantee you, especially now with NIL. Like, who cares? Anybody with money could talk to these kids and offer them money now.
Wow.
So why? Yeah, no, we're gonna. The unfortunate part is like from Ohio State. Who would you? Hey, we got 21 pilots to come out here and talk to you to come to their school. And you just have some kid from like Arkansas be like, who is this guy? Who are these people? Why are their necks black and their faces white? I
Well,
don't get
it's
it.
that or Machine Gun Kelly. So.
Yeah. Hey, best of both worlds.
Do you think they could? Do you think the Snake LeBron does anything?
100%. He claims he graduated from Ohio State. He never even went to college. You don't think he calls up these kids and go, hey man, former Buck.
But he wants to pull everybody out of Cleveland, though.
That's what I'm saying.
He'll
Like
send them to college here,
the
but not
dude
the pros.
actively acts as if he went to the college. And I can't hate on him because I do the same thing. Like, I'm Buckeye bred Ohio, but I'm like, he is actively like, dude, I would have been all-American tight end there. You should go there. It's like, dude, you're LeBron James. I know. It's okay, man. It's okay. Your football days ended at St. Vincent St. Mary. You went on to other things. I wonder what those were.
Yeah, I wonder what those were.
It's
And
so-
you got Brownie Jr. next to you.
So yes, I 100% believe that these individuals contact them. But what Ohio State doesn't necessarily need that, because it's like every year we're in the top 4. Every year in the top 4, it doesn't matter. what celebrity we get to talk to you. Sure, you're going to meet him. It's going to be cool. It might
No,
give you
the
money.
celebrity you get to meet is Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
Right? Like again, inbred tradition. It's like
Winning culture. It's a winning culture for our entire life. Essentially, Ohio State's been winning culture. I would say since Cooper, Ohio State's been winning culture. Jim Tressel changed it. Went from Tressel to Urban Meyer and Ryan Day. If Ryan Day wins a championship this year, everyone's going to look at him and be like, how are you going to fire him, even if he loses to Michigan? He won another championship.
and that's all we want.
All three of my freaking coaches that I've known that have been Ohio State. I'll give God, he was the interim coach when Urban got in trouble. Fickle. I'm going to give Fickle the pass because he never was officially like the actual head coach. All three true main coaches we've had have been won a national championship.
All right. So I want to play some coaching theory out with you.
Sure.
A couple episodes ago, you had a great viral clip. You made the point of how Urban Meyer used to focus
Oh, yeah.
on
yeah.
Michigan first,
Mhm.
beat Michigan, then the next game, and you got to take one step at a time. He never looked at the championship until he was there.
Mhm.
And one of the flaws that we kind of thought may have been a problem with Ryan Day was that all he talked about was the championship. And so that focus on the end, allows for the distraction off of the steps that precede even getting there, like Michigan. And then maybe that's why he's losing to them, because their focus is elsewhere,
Yeah.
down the road to a place they're not even at yet. However, what if that gets you a championship?
The thing is, and it's funny enough that you bring this up, I have had these thoughts to myself since then, because it's like, again, you're remembered for your wins, right? But you grow from your losses. So it's kind of like how I'd look at Ryan Day. Like, if you could rebound from that Michigan loss and go on a four win streak to win out this championship, first one to do it, first one to win this 12-team college football playoff after an not just a loss to Michigan, an embarrassing loss to Michigan at your turf. People are going to forget all about that flag plant thing if you end up winning this national championship. I will look at the camera and say, hey, you proved me wrong. Proved everyone wrong.
Yes.
And kudos to you. Nothing but the highest respect then at that point. Like, you took that law. Urban would win that game and then win the championship and be like, mission accomplished, mission done. You had the biggest punch to the face in your entire career. How'd you rebound? Won 4 games, national championship. I won't forget that. I won't. Who's going to forget that? Yeah, we lost to Michigan that year. Handled Tennessee, walked through Oregon, who hadn't lost, handled business with Texas, and then you're probably playing Notre Dame or Penn State for the national championship, which please let it be Notre Dame just to watch them
yes, dude.
get spanked. Notre Dame for Ohio State
Humble
national
'em.
championship, 42-14.
Dude.
See ya, Catholics. Go home. Would be so refreshing. And everyone, especially if he wins all these in dominant fashion. Like, at no point in the game was it like, it's like, no, he just handled it. No one's going to even remember. This championship will get brought up and people be like, oh, yeah, he lost to Michigan, like right before all that. People be like, yeah, who cares? Dave Portnoy does, but that's about it.
That's about it.
And then Michigan next year will go 8-5 and it'll be like, but maybe we'll beat Ohio State. That's what I mean. It's like Ohio State year in, year out. Michigan won it last year. You were the national champ a year ago.
You're not
played
even playing.
Alabama in what, the Pop-Tart Bowl or whatever? Kudos. And hey, still kudos. You beat them. I didn't think you'd beat Bama. But like,
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, they're still in the same pedigree we are. No. Year in, year out. Top 4 team. Doesn't matter.
If anything, you're proving that Bama feat is nothing to be that excited about.
The thing is, too, is like, I look at Ryan Day, his coaching record. If he does win these next 2 games, he will be 70-10 in his first 5 years here with a national championship. I will look at people and be like, please critique his losses. Other than the Michigan loss. The Michigan loss is the only one you can look at and be like, that's his only unranked loss. Every other loss, I'm pretty sure, was a top 8-5 team. It's like, it's not like he's losing. I remember Urban year in, year out would like lose to Illinois on a Saturday, like 52-35. Unranked Illinois. You'd be like, Urban, what the fuck are you doing? And then he'd still somehow almost win the national championship. You're like, how did you lose to Illinois And then the year before it was Purdue. And then the year before it was Virginia Tech. Won the championship, but it was like every year he would have a loss like that. And I had to give Ryan Day credit. It's like he doesn't do that. Then he lost to Michigan. And it's like if you respond like that and win 4 games and win the national championship, who gives a shit?
Right.
Who cares? Go Bucks, Buckeye Nation, Ohio against the world. Y'all can suck it.
Well, yeah, bet. Love that point. 10 times over.
That's what I mean.
But you know what? Even more so, and it was really under the cloud of that Michigan game. I was kind of feeling down on my luck. You're sitting there kind of going, is this the end of the Big Ten domination?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Like, seeing what Alabama was this year
Mhm.
and how the SEC has stood up in this postseason.
Yep.
What a dummy thought that was.
The SEC's only team in the playoffs still is Texas. They weren't even in your conference last year.
Right.
Congratulations. You had to get – that's their Oregon. What happened to Oregon in our conference? Daddy's here. Go home. Go home. Congrats. You beat us in October. Go home. Doesn't matter. Don't matter. Quack, quack, motherfucker. We don't care. Like, we don't care. That's what happens in this Big Ten. Congrats. You could beat us on your turf in, like, October when it's kind of warm. Now it's January. And we're kind of pissed. Fun fact, dude, if you want a really inspiring story, man, look up Will Howard. He got like personal in an interview, like leading up to this game against Oregon, talking about his loss when he like thought he had enough time to slide and call a timeout and he didn't. And he's like, dude, his mom was in town for the game. He called her after the game and asked if she could stay a few days because he was like depressed. He's like, I couldn't sleep. I'd be staring at the ceiling for hours. He's like, I'd get like an hour or two of sleep in the days after that loss, thinking like our season's over. What are we going to do? And then he said he did this. He said he had the same or the opposite reaction after Michigan. He's like, after Michigan, it was like, we're winning this fucking thing. So no one could tell me a goddamn word about that game. And I was like, Cleveland, 4th round, get him.
Right.
That's the attitude I want. We're going to be retarded and we're going to get Shadur Sanders #1 overall. But I was like, this is the, like when you bring up, I loved your point because I had the same thought after Michigan. Is this really the end of the Big Ten being the Big Ten? Nope. Still here.
Nope.
We needed a quick slap in the face. We're back. Daddy's home. Daddy's home. Bama didn't make it. Alabama Jones isn't the coach anymore. Now we got Notre Dame, Penn State, and Texas. Still doesn't even know if it's horns up or down. That's how lost they are. I will see you Friday.
Bet.
That's where I'm at.
See you Friday. Oh, I love that. All right. This has, again, been an amazing postseason for college football. God bless them for extending it and making a real tournament. I mean, this has been a blast. Each week, more football. It's been great games. Now, the less interesting, but I think will make for a tight race at the end, transitioning to the NFL. We're getting prepped for the postseason here, and this past week of football has been amazing. First off, a lot of rival games. That's what makes it fun, unless your rival, just wallops you like we did. But here's a clip from the Cowboys-Eagles game. We really don't have too much media for today's episode, but I do love this clip. Some kid had, floor passes, and he's on the ground for an Eagles-Cowboys game, tight rivalry, and
Dude, this is insane.
yeah, dude. And he's just there.
And that poor ref.
That's when you need to yell World Star.
Just the middle of an NFL game.
Imagine streaming World Star in an
just love his
NFL
face.
clip and it like matches.
Yeah.
Like,
the face he
World
made.
Star, and it's the Cowboys Eagles.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, you got your money's worth.
Yeah,
There's no
boy,
way you can walk out and be like, how was it? Boring.
But football right in my lap. So we went over a lot of the contract necessities that you got to keep an eye out for, and you want to play that into your favor if you're picking parlays this week. But what we need to do next is review this week's games as we get ready for the NFL season one more time. So we'll go with this one. Doug, if you want to give us that middle camera. All right, so Browns got walloped. I really enjoyed that Bengals Steelers game, and
So
kudos to the Bengals for pulling one out. They needed that, and I love watching the Steelers get it.
Regardless if they make the playoffs or not, the fact that Cincinnati ended up with a winning record.
Yes,
They were like,
cheers to them.
yeah, I mean, like the fact that you ended up with a winning record.
No
like,
defense.
no.
I mean, so many of those games, super tight endings, just not going your way,
Right.
and
Well,
you pulled it out.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase, too, was top 3 in
he?
receiving yards, touchdowns, and receptions, I think.
Did he get the Triple Crown?
He did. Well, last night they had it on TV that he was leading
So
in
he's
all
still
3.
leading. So he's
So
still
again,
leading. So after today, you'll know if he's a Triple Crown winner.
You know, as one of the fantasy football dummies that for the first pick of the draft took Tyreek Hill. Yeah, that's what I get for listening to all the noise. They're saying next year Jamar Chase is the guy, number 1 pick.
I took
He's gonna be
Jamar
the
in
guy.
my one league that I won the championship.
It'll be interesting.
So
I don't know if you do that. I just don't know if you do that. But
I don't even know
again, he
anymore.
won't be there. I don't know anymore. I'm in a freaking haze.
Baker Mayfield is the MVP of fantasy. I would not have
And I
thought
got
that
him
going
at
into
the
year.
end. Like, might as well get a secondary quarterback because there's nothing else
You'll be
floating around.
nice on my bye week.
Yeah. Turned out to be the guy.
You-
Stroud.
You picked him up as like the ornament in the back of the tree. Like, I got to hang this somewhere.
Turns out to be the angel on the top.
Yeah.
All right. Getting into today's games, we got some fun ones coming at you. Lied. Starting off with the Panthers and the Falcons. I have zero interest in watching this. If the Falcons don't come out with a winning record, they don't deserve it.
Falcons got to win to stay in the playoff hunt. They got
Which
to
is
win and
crazy
pray
they're
Tampa
still
Bay
there.
lose.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Yeah.
Cowboys, Commanders. This will be a good game for the Commanders, I think, to just coast into the postseason.
I'm curious. Here's the thing, too. It depends on like the seeding for like a lot of these NFC and AFC teams in the playoffs. It's like, does it matter if you win or lose? Because if it doesn't, it's like sit your guys.
Yes,
You know what I
right.
mean? So like, I don't know if this game matters to Washington.
And you know what the truth is? If it did, the Cowboys aren't going to make it easy for them.
No, but like regardless, it's like if it doesn't mean anything to you, it's such a shitty week to like be picking like who you think is going to win or lose. I'm still going to go with Commanders because at that record, I'm sure they're going to want to try and keep the current seeding.
I agree. Bears, Packers. This is a sleeper
Packers.
for the Packers. They'll
Yeah.
get to just walk into the postseason.
Fuck Caleb.
Colts, Jags. Colts. I mean,
I'm taking Colts.
thanks for doing a good job staying at the middle of the draft.
I'm taking
'cause,
Colts for Joe Flacco.
yeah, I was gonna say Joe Flacco for sure.
Yeah, Buffalo Bills are taking a sleeper into the postseason.
Yeah, I have no idea if they're sitting.
Patriots
I
might
would
win
assume they're
this.
sitting.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're probably pretty comfy at the 2 seed now.
Oh,
They've got to be because I think Baltimore's the 3rd or Houston's the 3rd.
yes.
And it's like, yeah, they're definitely sitting their guys.
Again, another one. Eagles sleeping.
Sleeping.
Bucks, they need this.
Tampa
And you know
has to
what?
win.
The Saints got, a wide receiver that's got to make some big plays to get their bonus. I don't see it happening, but
Derek Carr's not playing. They already got Spencer Rattler versus Baker Mayfield.
Yep, they've already said Carr.
No,
Definitely.
2 Oklahoma grads playing against
well,
each
guess
other.
what? Baker's got this one in the bag.
If
And
Tampa wins, that'll be the 4th year in a row Tampa's won the NFC South.
right. And reminding you, touching on it again, Mike Evans has to get 85 plus yards to get his
Keep his streak
bonus. And, well, he's going to get $3 million if he
It's
gets
not even
it.
that. It's even he probably doesn't even care about the money. It's more for like just
Dude,
that
$3
thousand-
million is nothing to sleep on.
But it's that 1,000-yard streak. Like for
yeah.
him, like that means more to him at this point now than the money. He's made so much money. Like sure, 3 million is great, but for him, it's like that's adding to his gold jacket. It's like
True.
I want to have the longest now record of that.
Oh yeah, and again,
'Cause I think
they'll-
I think he would tie Jerry Rice for like the longest streak in history.
wow. Texans, Titans. Texans need this one, and it won't be too hard for them. I don't think.
I'm sure Texans have to play some of their guys though for seeding.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. They're going to need
unless
this,
they can't get the 3rd seed
which I'm crazy
because they're pretty weak
they've
as like
made
a
it this-
4th seed, but they're a division winner. Like they won their division
Yeah,
already.
I think that's wild. They've made it this far.
Yeah.
And they don't deserve it, to be honest. Cardinals, 49ers.
We're taking Arizona and Kyler
We need
Murray to run a lot.
We need it.
Run a
I
lot.
need it. I need it. I don't need to just keep drinking
Keep running, boy.
because these parlays are killing me. Anyway, Chiefs, Broncos. Well,
Denver. Chiefs
really?
are sitting. Chiefs are sitting.
you
They-
still think they'll
Oh,
lose?
they are sitting.
Denver needs to win. Chiefs are sitting their starters. And Denver needs to win. They
Bo
need to win
Nix,
to make
baby.
playoffs.
Bo
Oh.
Nix.
Because if
Interesting.
Denver loses, Cincinnati's in the playoffs. Denver has the edge. Winning in. You're winning in. And you're playing a team that's sitting their starters. Because Kansas City, they're number 1 seed. They already have it.
Right.
Doesn't matter win or lose.
Wow. All right. That'll be a fun one.
I'm sure Denver's favored in that game kind of quite a
They
bit.
have to be.
I'm sure.
They have
I'm
to be.
sure.
They need it. And you know what? Again, going back to the Broncos Bengals, their game, I mean, that was a tight game. That was an
Yeah.
awesome game to watch. The Broncos are a fight. They've got a
Oh yeah,
fight in
no,
them.
they're a
So,
scrappy young team. They got a nice future there. They're Washington's they're AFC's Washington right this year.
yes.
That's what they are.
Rams, Seahawks,
This is
both
playoff
teams need it.
implications. Yeah.
So this will probably be the hottest game of the day. Definitely
if
be watching out
Seattle
for this one.
loses, I don't think they make the playoffs. I think the
Really?
Rams still do if they lose, but like for why? Because you got to think in the NFC South, if Tampa wins, Atlanta's not a wild card team. This might be for division or wild card placing. For
Yeah.
this
Oh,
game
yeah.
right here.
So they got it. They got to fight it out. Next one, Raiders is going to be just giving a pass to the Chargers, I think.
And I think this is seeding for Chargers, so they're
Yeah.
going to play a lot of their guys.
Oh, yeah. Jets, Dolphins.
Dolphins
This is
need a
probably the
win.
stinkiest game of the day. How are the Dolphins keep getting 4:00 games?
Funny enough, Dolphins still have a chance to make
Yeah,
playoffs
they
even
need
going
to
into the
win.
day.
And they'll probably get it because the
Yeah.
Jets.
Well,
have
they're
just been
playing
a
Aaron
zero.
Rodgers and the Jets, and Aaron Rodgers doesn't know if he's retiring after this game or not. So, it's a big sentimental game for him.
He's
you know?
got to be retiring. Right?
I don't know. I don't know. He says when he does, he's going to disappear into the spotlight. We know he loves that. So he might be back next year. He might be back next year. He won't
This-
tell us until like 3 weeks before the season when he comes down from the mountain, but he will be thinking about it this year. He'll let you know.
He'll
He'll let you know.
He'll do a Netflix special.
I will not change my mind on that man until he does ayahuasca on Pat McAfee show. Instant he does that, I'll be like, you know what? That's a chill guy. That is a chill guy right there. Till then, nah.
Nah, you don't mean it.
The game of the day.
Yeah,
Game of the day.
This has a lot at stake here,
This has-
and it will foreshadow what we can see coming later in the playoffs.
This has the most riding on it. It's first or fifth seed. If Detroit wins their first seed, if they lose, they drop the fifth seed. And I don't know what Minnesota would. So I don't know if I think if they win, then they're the 1 seed because Philadelphia has 3 losses.
right.
So it's literally a fight for first or fifth seed.
This will be a hot game
Yeah.
to watch.
You're playing for a week off next week.
And they're
essentially.
2 great games. I mean, 2 great teams. I mean, this will be a fun one to watch.
You got Sam Darnold versus Jared
There's no
Goff.
Monday.
No Monday.
game.
And there was
Monday
no
game.
Thursday
Yeah.
either.
So final week of the season because they don't want
Wow.
anybody to have a competitive advantage in days off.
Oh, gotcha.
Get why? Yeah.
Wow.
So that's why all yesterday was one conference. AFC North was all of yesterday.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, this has been part of the show I've been dreading this whole time.
I gotta ask, why you pick Mighty Ducks? Was that just because it was here, or because like you just really like the trilogy?
The trilogy. I love the Mighty Ducks. It's
They win.
And like I said, it's my favorite Cleveland Browns Cleveland football team.
It's my favorite hometown team,
Yeah.
the Mighty
A
Ducks.
fictional hockey team.
I don't. The Mighty Ducks. Don't even know what city name they are.
disgust me so much this year. It's just
Is this a more embarrassing season than 0-16? It might be.
in many ways,
Yeah.
simply because it had the cast of the Massage Man.
yeah.
Like if he wasn't a part of the script, I don't think I'd be so disgusted with the franchise.
Oh,
But
oh.
the Mighty Ducks, that's just nostalgic fun.
I felt like the 0-16 team went exactly how we thought we were. We're like, yeah, we're not going to win a game. And then we didn't. We're like, parade. And now this year, it's like, oh, we might actually compete for 3 and 14.
3 and 4. 3 and 4. All the guys that were great that got us to this point of excitement. They're at the end of their road. They really don't have much more they could give this team, and we wasted it. Yeah. So looking at the parlay picks of last week, I was the only loser for us. Wait, this isn't the right one.
Yeah, it
because
is the right one.
then he lost 2. Oh no.
No.
It's just I saw the 2 red dots. No, I don't know what I was thinking, but I thought our defense would have been the only thing that showed up last week against the Dolphins. There was an interception, but then there was also a flag. So they called it back, and we lost it. So now the Browns have me drinking again. Doug, though, keeps betting appropriately against his team. He just loves now, this whole second half of the postseason, he just loves betting Browns interceptions. And
I took one yesterday, too, with Zappy, and it hit.
the thing that keeps disgusting me is that he keeps getting them. Like, he keeps winning. I'm the one drinking. He's not.
It's a running joke. Who's going to throw an interception?
Honestly, at this point, I'm with Doug. It's kind of a running joke. It's like, what idiot's going to throw an interception this week?
I mean, we've been throwing
Starting,
one every game.
he's doing it.
Yeah. Whoever's starting this week will be throwing an interception.
My favorite, though, was when DTR went in after, like, the second drive, and I was like, we already gave up on that guy.
Yeah.
I feel bad. We didn't even give him a fair shake. And then by the end of the game, I was like, oh, they both
Well,
suck.
DTR took a beating on those 2 plays, too. He ran the ball on some of the dumbest schemes and just took some hits.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, you knocked it out of the park with your Jaden Daniels pick. I really didn't think 2. I thought 2 was stretching it, but
So did I. Honestly, I went in and I was like,
but who would have thought I'd be the one
I don't
holding us
even.
back
This
again?
week, my head was clear. I was like, J.K. Dobbins. I was like, I looked at the Magic 8 Ball and it like popped up, J.K. Dobbins 60 plus. I was like, yeah.
So, being the only loser, I gotta send it off.
You really bet on a Tyler Huntley bet.
Oh, Alex was so excited when he threw that. He was like hitting me. He goes, yeah. And then I'm like, flag. He just immediately changed his reaction.
Gotta be honest, that looks awful.
These are like the worst part of these mornings, and it has like an effect. Like you turn off your screen and we're done. Our transaction ends there. This carries with me.
Yeah.
I still have a giant gullet of sugar.
I remember a few weeks ago when we went to Independence Tavern and we sat down and immediately I was sitting, I was like, I feel a little tipsy.
It's less the tipsy part and it's more of a giant ball of sugar water. Lovely. But because of the punishments, it's a fine incentive to bring you victories. And I think this week is going to bring you the greatest victory. That's why you're going to want to dive into this week's parlay pick of the week. Our parlay pick this week, I think, is going to bring about some good success.
I feel good.
J.K. Dobbins, like Will said, has got the 60-plus yards. He's got to get that for his contract boost, and that's a weekly achievable marker for him. J.K. Dobbins does that in his sleep. This being a game against the Raiders where he can easily achieve it, get that man his money. The one that I went with this week that's going to be a bit of an interesting fight, Kyler Murray with 50-plus rushing yards. He's got to get that to get his bonus, and I think the game he's got ahead of him will present some opportunities with San Francisco, so it'll be good to see. And Doug's confidence resurfaces in Jared Goff. These tend to give him the victories each week, so Doug's confident bringing back the Jared Goff 250-plus passing yards. It's got a good payout for us, too, this week, so if you got it, join us. But otherwise, guys, we appreciate you joining us each week. We got the Sunday football review. I hope this gave you a little bit fun and interest as you tinker your final week for fantasy and get excited for a full day of football. Buckle in because tonight's game is probably going to be the best, and then we kick off a great week of postseason football. Go Buckeyes. Be sure to join us each week at 11 a.m. We have our reactions channel. Doug and I experienced some wild cops interactions this week and woke up with donuts, just like a cop would. But like I said, we've got all these different shows. We've got our Tuesday live show and the podcast coming at you with some really great guests lined up for this second season. So be sure to join us. You can find it all in one central place, and that's at our website at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. So guys, thank you for joining us, jumping into the comments and adding another dynamic to the show. And we'll catch you next week. Peace.